spawning in the upper left. In the blue, he stomped here in game number 5 on Beckett. Not that I saw it. Dragon Phoenix Gaming, the Kingslayer, ZEST. And his opponent spawning in the bottom right in the red. He is for Team Liquid, the Little Corporal, CLEM. And CLEM doing his... Oh, wait, did the SCV just die? It did. Oh, CLEM making a little bit of a mistake there. But yeah, CLEM just doing his annoying things when he plays against a very good Protoss. And he says, yes, eBay blocks. eBay blocks to the future. eBay blocks to the past. eBay blocks, or maybe even the present. There's certainly ZEST present in this game as eBay. Will he get the cancel off CLEM in the last second? By the way, that was a last second cancel. Generally, you see... certain players, they go and they get like that last little tick of health, and I've never figured out how many ticks, how many of those ticks is actually like one thing. But anyway, generally you wait till like the last 2 ticks and then you cancel CLEM to wait until like 5 HP. The maximum value there, and look at this, we got a proxy factory on the map in this game number 1, and he can do one of two things with this. Either he goes and he floats it in the main base and builds widow mines, or he proxies a starport next to it and just does proxy Hellion drops. But there we go. It's flying on into the main base here. I didn't want a long game anyways. And you know what? Honestly, I didn't. I want to go to bed, but I also kind of wanted a long one. Is now the factory will land. ZEST will scout. He's like, oh, what? Hey, what are you doing, CLEM? Don't do this to me. And yes, constant A mover. Discrete is a very mathy term because I'm getting a PhD in robotics. And I think I'm qualified to use that term. So we will see the Hellion pop on out here. And realistically, okay, so we're going to see. This Hellion is going to look to drive around the main base. Try to get... okay, it's a scouting Hellion. I love this. This is so insane from CLEM. It's fantastic. Look at this. The factory's running home. CLEM doesn't need it. Like, realistically, if he's going for, you know, a 3 Marine... if he's going for like a 3-1-1 plus 1 stim combat shield timing, well, he doesn't need a factory. Not really. I mean, he wants tanks, but whatever. He's kind of forced ZEST into a build that doesn't get a Twilight, strictly because he convinced ZEST that he was going for something that needed a really quick observer, needed some immortals, whatever the case was. So yeah, the factory is going to run in home, but ZEST here, he's on 1 gate. He's going up to that second. He has that robo. Again, for sure, if you can get that one guy that said he was going to give me $500, if Parting lost the series, or if you all can somehow manage to match that, then we'll talk. But otherwise, no hot tub stream. Maybe, you know, maybe at the end of the summer when I'm like feeling a bit happier about how in shape I am, because I fell significantly out of shape studying for my qualifying exams this spring, and I'm only just now getting back into it. I need to figure my feet out. Anyways, ZEST, he's gonna go for just the quickest path onto Colossus at this point. Actually, we might see some disruptor drops. Why, hello, Kiakona 12. Unfortunately, I cannot transliterate Hangul. Very sad. But, you know, Twitch says your name is... yeah, Chiacona 12. Sure. Welcome. Glad you're here with us today. Glad you can make the journey. Glad you can make the trip and join us in what is sure to be a slobber knocker of a grand finals, because that is the technical term, by the way. Slobber knocker is what we call something like this. Well, hopefully it's going to be a slobber knocker. Who knows? It might just be a snooze fest. ZEST might just DT CLEM to death 3 games in a row, even if we don't have DTs in this game. But you know what? ZEST likes it anyways. But if we're lucky, we're going to have a game like ZEST versus CLEM on Oxide from Katowice, where it was like 20 minutes of low eco haymakers thrown at each other. Just charge lots everywhere. Bunch of cool stuff. Now, okay, we have the push coming out here from CLEM. Tank's going to siege up on the low ground in that really annoying spot. Colossus will get 1 shot off before it's forced on back. And here's the thing, there is no Twilight upgrades here. Clem's just going to stem on top of this Colossus, trying to knock it down immediately. And even with the shield battery overcharge, he's starting to knock it down. The Colossus is just barely going to go down, but Clem's going to lose most of his army in the exchange. So yeah, the tech gets reset, but, well, shield battery, it's a powerful drug. Now Clem's now going to drop on into the main base here. Wait, he can get a Colossus right again here. Tank's going to get on top of this as well. Bryo is stimming on in, trying to do it again. But actually, there's just not enough Marines. Like, oh no, the Colossus is exposed. And actually, with this tank, it's going to take 2-3 more shots. But, you know, there we go. Hey, the Kaiser, thank you so much. That is the subscription, by the way. That is not... I should put like, you know, people have subscriber goals. For different things. I should put like 1,000 subscriber goal or something for a hot tub stream. Honestly, if I got 1,000 subs, I'd do it. I'd figure out how to get that one set on up. I'm not exactly sure how I would do it because at the second floor of my girlfriend's apartment and I don't want to mess with her rent. But anyways, now we do have the ZEST. He's just going to be able to clean this up. The tanks, they're getting some good shots on the high ground, but not enough to kill off anything. Although, wait, Colossus is going to be 2 tank shots away. And ZEST will be forced back. And Clem, he's just got that siege up going on in once again. So we're going to see the Cybercore go on down here. That's a bit of a problem. I mean, you want Stalkers. Now, Blink is not done. And in fact, I guess actually that's not as terrible as it was otherwise because Charge is now done. And that is going to be what ZEST is really going to use to make sure he can break this. But I mean, Clem is getting, you know, to a really powerful pushing position. Now he's going to drop part of his army at the very least onto the high ground. But now the Colossus is still there. ZEST can't, or Clem can't really put himself up onto the high ground. But okay, what is Clem's situation here? He's got 5 racks. He only has 2 orbitals. So yeah, he is all in here, right? This is a 5 racks all in. So ZEST is very happy to sit here. Sure, he's going to lose this Robo, and that's not going to feel that great. Stalkers are going to try to find something with their 2 tanks, so they're just going to go down. A little bit of missed micro there from ZEST, but ZEST is very content to just sit here, develop his tech, develop his economy, develop his army, and set up some flanks, set up some counterattacks, whatever. But I mean, that's a lot of stuff moving out on the map here from ZEST from Clem at this point. But no, we got a run by coming on in. ZEST will be able to force Clem back for the time being. There's a lot of chargeless going to find their way on into the natural. And ZEST is okay. Look, I think we're probably equal in army supply. You have 21 zealots. Half of them look like they're in my natural right now. So that means they are not in my main base. Okay, I'm just going to pull my SCVs. I'm going to pull my SCVs. You're going to slowly kill them all off. But if I can kill off your entire army, and if I can do even more damage to you than you can do to me, as the tank fire is going to knock down that Colossus. No more Colossus remain on the map at this point. There's one immortal here, but it's not doing anything just yet. As now it's joining the fight just a little bit. Clem's just going to stim on into things. He says, look, I don't need an economy. That's fine. As long as I have my army, as long as I have my micro, I'm going to have more than enough. And he is absolutely right. He is overstimmed, so this army from ZEST could start to be a bit of a problem. Now he's going to move on up into the high ground. Now, this is where things get scary. If he can get on top. A bunch of SCVs were killing probes in the main base. Okay, fine. That's how that works. Yeah, Clem found a really nice position here. But, you know, again, we talked about things being overstimmed. Tanks going on down. Bio's going to drop on the Stalkers on the low ground. But Clem had a 40 army supply lead at one point. It's not there anymore. Stalkers going to move on forward, trying to knock this one full medevac down. But that's not going to work out either. And now where do we stand? DT's getting warped on in. ZEST's favorite magical toy. And you know that Clem is not going to have any detection here, right? He's going to be spending all of his energy on mules to make sure that he can sustain this push at only 26 workers. So these DTs are going to be a powerful problem indeed. Colossus just sitting there on the edge of range. Of course, extended thermal lance does mean that they can get a lot more done here. Tanks are going to siege up on the low ground once again. And we're starting to see some really powerful shots on top of this main army of ZEST. But that supply gap, that 40 army supply gap that we had, it's now 1. ZEST did lose a lot of workers, but so did Clem, and Clem lost a lot more than ZEST did. He's also just on a less, just has less available to mine from at this point as well. So DT's going to find its way on into the natural, and this should be it. Realistically, unless Clem can kind of punch his way through things right now, this is going to be the last hope of ZEST, or of Clem, excuse me, in this game number 1. Now, ZEST will lose this last Colossus. Well, last Colossus until the other one does walk on down here. CLEM looking to stim on forward, do what he can. Actually, the tanks are in a really nice position to knock down a lot of this army. One of my shots are going to be fairly decent as well. But the DTs, the charge blast are going to get on top of the bio. The DT will die, but it's not going to be enough. GG, CLEM. He's going to fall down, and ZEST takes the first game of this series. In the upper right, in the blue here, with a fantastic hold in game number 1. He is, for Dragon Phoenix Gaming, ZEST. And his opponent in the bottom left, in the red, he is for Team Liquid, CLEM. Man, it is such a constant struggle when you are casting a game of StarCraft. Or really when you're doing player interest. Wow. That STV getting by on like 5 HP. One more probe shot would have killed it. Anyway, it's such a constant struggle when you do player interest in particular to not just do the same thing over and over again, to use the same epithets over and over again. Because like, okay, in a best of 5, you call ZEST Kingslayer twice, whatever. But it's very easy, especially once you, like, if you have long games, 2 games in a row or something. Or if you have a long game, it's very easy to use kind of the same introduction 2 games in a row. And then it gets a little bit repetitive, and maybe some people don't notice, but some people do. And I don't know. I certainly noticed. I'm like, oh, geez, I just called. Oh, recall on the probe. Okay. Value added. Look at this. Zesty's going to expand onto the 3rd base location here. Huh. We see this happen occasionally. It almost never works out for the Protoss player, but I think this just means ZEST is going to do something aggressive, because what's the best way to defend a rather aggressive expansion? It's to make it so your opponent never finds his way on the other side of the map. Because right now, I mean, this base situation is insanely vulnerable to a drop play from ZEST, right? With the high ground, low ground situation, you can just kind of go up, go down. Even Hellion run bys. You go into the 3rd, you go into the main. It's a lot quicker for the Hellions to do anything else. So it's kind of hard to rotate between things. So what does ZEST do? Okay, he does go Stargate here, and that is the other option, right? If you're worried about drop play, you open Phoenix. And you say, okay, well, that's fine. I'm just going to knock everything from the sky. I'm going to pick up any Widow Mines before they go down. I'm going to pick up Hellions, and it's just, well, you're not going to get anything done. Now, but we've seen this happen before. We saw Haas, no, we saw Spatz do this. No, we saw Haas do this against CLEM, I think. We saw someone do this today. Oh, no, was it Trust? Oh, yes, that's what it was. Trust versus CLEM, and he got a bunch of Phoenix, and then he went and said, oh yes, Phoenix. But right at the moment, he's like, okay, there's no drop coming. He moves out of the map with his Phoenix. He gets a couple SCV kills, fine, and then CLEM drops 3 Hellions in his main base and kills 20 workers, and it's like, okay, Trust, you're dead. So that is something you do have to be careful of. You have to make sure that you understand what the tech path your opponent is going for when you do go for this Phoenix tech, so you know whether it is safe to move out on the map or whether you have to sit back and defend. Now, for instance, in this game, well, ZEST could probably move out on the map and get something done, but with a double Cyclone tech, probably not the best idea, as 2 more barracks are on the way. So CLEM, he's just going for an aggressive build once again. It didn't work out for him. It almost worked for him. For a second, it looked like he had broken ZEST in game number 1, but ZEST was able to sandbag it just long enough. In game 2, well, Beckett is a minuscule map. It's a 28-second rush distance, natural to natural, and with the chokes we have in this map as well, it makes tank pushes really scary. Actually, maybe that makes this a little bit easier for ZEST as he does take the space, right? Because you're not quite as afraid of those chokes. Yeah, I guess you're still afraid of the chokes in the natural. But also, man, what a just an archetypical CLEM move right here. I'll move out on. I got 2 Cyclones. I got like 8 Marines. Let me just run across the map, see if I can get something done. Got a probe. Okay, time to run on home. It's just such a CLEM thing, but now ZEST is going to look to try to catch this on its retreat here. Adepts are going to find all of these Cyclones. They will lock on, but they're just going to get lifted on into their doom. 1 Cyclone goes down. 2nd Cyclone is going to get lifted up. It will go on down here, and the Marines, they're going to be forced to retreat on home, but well, Adepts will be able to chase them down. ZEST with a killer move here in this game number 1. And hey, shout out to Phoenix Adept all-ins. Now we're gonna see here. We will not see Glaive Adepts as a follow-up. I don't believe it. Oh, look at this. The Adepts, they will find their way on into the main base, but now there's a tank. There are too many Marines. Not going to be all that great. The Phoenix will survive. 2 more SCVs do go down, as 1 Phoenix died, but still a valuable trade there for 2 Cyclones, 7 Marines, and a couple SCVs. Zest in control of this game once again. He's up 5 workers, which could be more, but he's going to be able to get his 3rd base underway now. He's got, and yeah, there we go. Okay, this is what it's going to be. He's got a Forge underway. He's got a Twilight underway. And this is the build that Zest has been bopping nerds with in this matchup for a bit now. Pretty much since Katowice, where he goes Phoenix, Charge Lot, and he's got air control. He's able to lift up all the tanks, and he just swarms with Charge Lots off of like 4 gas, 3 or 4 gas, and says, hey, look, I'm just going to build a big army. It's going to be heavily upgraded. And most of it does insanely well against most of the Terran pushes that happen here. But you know what? I said this was not going to be a Phoenix Glaive Adept all-in. Well, you're right. It's not an all-in because that's just taking a 3rd base, but we have Glaive Adepts on the way. And this is actually rather interesting. So what do we got? We have 3 tanks, 26 Marines, no medevacs. Concussive Shell is on the way, so we will eventually have some Marauders. But I think Clem's just gonna kill him, right? We don't have any shield batteries. The natural probes are gonna have to be pulled to defend this. The tank is not sieged on up yet, but now it is. Adepts, they're gonna look to make the siege up happen. Just getting out. Well, actually, look, if they get on top of all these Marines, friendly fire is gonna knock a lot of these Marines down. But still, the Adepts, they evaporate. They're all dead here. And yeah, they're Phoenix in the sky. 6 Phoenix don't do anything against a bunch of stimmed bio, but maybe with another set of Warpins. We are soon to have 7 gateways here. And with Glaive done, maybe this is going to do enough. Because while the Phoenix, they will be able to deal with reinforcements quite easily, it means that this army of Clem is going to be somewhat marooned on the map. Zest, though, he should lose this 3rd base. And that will mean that unlike in the previous game where Zest was not able, Zest was able to have his 3rd base and Clem wasn't really able to knock that down, Zest is starting to find damage here. Now the Phoenix, though, they will get surrounded just a little bit, but now the Adepts, they get on top of all this stuff, but the tanks are the problem here. They are firing strong, and Zest is on 50 supply. Clem has found the time. He's found the window in this game number 2 to just absolutely punish the greed of Zest. But hey, look, we got 7 more Adepts warping on in. Maybe this is going to be what needs to happen here, as what we need to see. A, these Adepts need to spread before they go on in, and B, we need to see the Phoenix lifting the tanks as the Adepts shade on in. But now they're gonna lift the tanks anyways. The tanks are starting to go on down here. There's only 1. 6 Phoenix, 1 Adept is going to have to be or 6 Adepts here is going to have to be the play. And Zest is slowly whittling this army supply down. I'm not going to lie, the last tank is now dead. The bio is going to go down. Of course, lifting that up is always going to be a recipe for failure here. And now Zest is moving out on the map. He has Glaive Adepts, right? They are going to be able to fight very well against this bio as they soften themselves back up. But really what we need is more Phoenix. And we need more economy here from Zest, as he's down 8 workers. But maybe if he does this, maybe if he runs across the map with these Adepts and is able to start finding some counter damage of his own, maybe that will eventually break the back of Clem and allow him to just kind of sandbag the game out like what he did in game number 1. Really ruin the economy of Clem, so he's kind of can afford to do things, but that would be fine, I think, if he had kept his natural, or kept the natural position but lost the 3rd. In this situation, this is just such an easy position for Clem to take. But okay, the tank's going to get lifted on it up here. Adept's going to warp on in. 1 tank's going to go down. 2nd tank is going to start to go under fire. And Zest now, he does have a much better concave. He has a much better split, but the 1 tank is dead. All the Adepts are dead, though. Oh, wait, he's going to get the 2nd tank with that last round of Adepts. He will. Another bunker's going down. We're going to see that. Now, the shield battery, or excuse me, the missile turret's a bit of a problem. Clem here, he's down on 30 workers. He's doubling the army supply of his opponent, give or take. And I think Clem's done it. I think Clem has what it takes here at this point. I think the supplies are just starting to become a little bit too damning for our Protoss player, especially now with the bunker, especially with the Marines, especially with the mules landed to repair the bunker. There are Adepts that are going to find their way on into the natural. The SCVs will be forced to be pulled once again, and once again, we will see an absolute massacre of SCVs, but not nearly as much as last time. Now the tank is going to get lifted on up here. It's the last-ditch effort from Zest to make something happen, but the bunker's too damn strong. GG Clem is going to equalize. And ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get more than 3 games for the first time in quite a while. And spawning in the bottom left, in the red, he is tied up in this series after taking a rather fantastic game number 2 for Team Liquid. CLEM. And his opponent spawning in the upper right in the blue. He is for Dragon Phoenix Gaming, the one, the only, ZEST. And what strange wind this way comes? I don't know. Will it be a strange wind? Will it be an easterly wind? Will it be a westerly wind? Do we even get wind on underwater maps? I think the answer is no on that one. And yeah, it's kind of funny. From our, you're right, Constantly Mover. This game is, even at any level, this game comes at you fast. But it's kind of funny as we sit here and we have access to all of the information that is happening, right? We have no fog of war. We can see the production tab. We can go wherever we want on the map. We can see whatever's happening. You still miss drops. You still miss stuff happening there. And part of it is because you're trying to tell a story and you're looking at the main engagement and you're trying to talk about what's specifically happening in that engagement. You don't see stuff on this side of the map as much. But still, it's so easy to just miss something, and then these players don't miss it. Like half the time you're like, oh, there's drop coming in, and it's just like, oh, look, I already got 4 stalkers there. I'm going to blink on top of the medevac, 2-shot it down. It's fine. And you're like, I didn't see that. I can see everything. How could you see that? And ZEST is like, look, I'm just God. Also, it's because their understanding of the game is just that one that 2, 3, 20 ticks higher than ours. So not only are they faster, not only are they better at looking at the minimap, all these things, they also know the timings. They say, yeah, at 5:15, I know if there's going to be a medevac drop, it's going to go on in here. I know at 4:30, for example, it's like, you know, you may know that, oh, nice timing there from CLEM. We'll be able to keep everything alive, all the SCVs alive, as, well, the base finishes just in time and hides inside. Like, you know that a 2-on-1 hits at 4 minutes and 30 seconds with 16 Marines, 2 medevacs. Or moves out, I'm sorry, at 4:30, hits closer to 5 minutes. They know that about, like, everything. Not just your big timings, not about the fact that a Glaive Adept all in, a 4-gate Glaive Adept moves out of the map at 4:30, hits at 440 in PvZ on a standard size map, but about everything, about the random win of mine drops, about when it is likely that CLEM's going to move in with a drop, when he's likely going to take a third base for every build. And it's just that encyclopedic knowledge that allows them to go and slow the game down, right? Because it's not that they're moving fast. They are, absolutely. I mean, we see what's happening all over the map at this point. Oracle's going to fly on into the main base, and hey, we'll be able to delay the starport for just a bit of time. How much more damage does this get done? 2 SCVs die. Maybe that's going to be a third. Of course, Oracles take 3 ticks to kill, so it's a little bit slower. I think probably that'd be like 4 or 5 workers if this was a PvZ. Still a nice micro there from ZEST. Now now the Hellions are going to look to dive on into the main base. Of course, this is only 2, so they're not going to get a lot here. But hey, you know what? They get the volley first. So then even with the Phoenix lifting them on up, they still get a couple workers. 2 workers do go down. ZEST, though, he's still sitting happy on 10 workers. Still sitting pretty happily here on a 10-worker lead, as he has gone Phoenix once again in this game. And CLEM, he is setting himself up once again for a 3-1-1. +1 stim combat shield timing will be the thing. And as much as I like these Phoenix openings, I don't like them nearly as much against these 2.5 base all-ins that Terran players love so much. Now, Phoenix can be good if you get your charge on time, if you get enough on the ground. And actually, I think, honestly, if ZEST had gone and gotten charge instead of Glaives and just leaned into Zealot tech, Zealot Phoenix would have done a very good job for him. I think that would have made him hold game number 2. But ZEST is clearly experimenting with some things, and he is a far better player than I. Also, he plays Protoss and I don't. So, who am I to judge? But again, I do feel like charge lots would have been the better play, but I mean, we see a decent amount of adepts on the field here. Is he going to do that again? I mean, Templar Archive's on the way, +1's on the way. And he is leaning on into Phoenix. I wonder whether we're going to see that Adept play once again. Now, again, this is a game where ZEST has gotten more damage than he did in the previous one, and CLEM got less. Now the Phoenix are going to run out here on the map. CLEM, once again, he's moving down on the map with the bulk of his army. It means there's not going to be a lot at home. But that also means this is not going to be a lot of home here. So stim done it is. So stim is done. Combat shields are underway. And ZEST is like, oh, okay, I see what's happening here. I see the number of barracks. I see what it is researching We see that immediate recall as the Oracle's just going to sit on the high ground or in the main base. Says, yeah, I'm going to keep killing workers until I run out of energy is what's going to happen here. So charge is now underway, but we have Adepts to hold the line here. Widowmine shot will get baited on out, will not get on top of the army. Of course, that's what you want to do when you see that Widowmine. You're like, ah, yes, run one Phoenix forward, have it sit on top of the army, have a bunch of friendly fire, because again, this army is very overstemmed here from CLEM. He is forced to run back for the time being, run back to safety. And the one issue with, if you want to call it that ZEST is running into in this game is because he committed so heavily to Phoenix early on. He has gotten himself 6 total Phoenix, I believe. Yeah, 6 total Phoenix. It means that his Twilight is later. It means his charge is later. It means his +1 is later. So he doesn't have that just one big break opportunity that he might be looking for as CLEM looks to pressure on in. But CLEM also, he kind of understands about what the timings are coming soon. He understands that he really can't make a mistake against this Phoenix deck, because the moment he starts to lose the fight, he loses the entire fight. There is no running from Phoenixes, not really. So he's just going to back on up for a second here. Nice force field on the ramp just to make sure that CLEM, he's going to take a little bit longer. So he's going to siege up on the bottom side. And again, all that ZEST is doing here, all that he's interested in doing is making sure that he buys time. He wants to make sure he has charge done, because this fight changes in its entirety. One charge is done, but oh, look at this. CLEM, he's building 3 bunkers here. And not only, okay, so this does 2 things. A, maybe it keeps the bio alive, as, oh god, the stasis trap. We see that just a little bit off screen. It means that this entire army from CLEM is going to go on down. Phoenix chasing the medevacs in the sky that have all the bio. Zealots will be able to find that as well. 3 workers die, but I mean, that's just the workers that ZEST brought with him here. This drop in the main base is not getting anything done, and now the army of ZEST is going to be able to rotate on into the 3rd base. Yes, we're going to see a cannon go down. Yes, we're going to see a shield battery go down, but that's going to be the total extent of things here. As the tank's going to try to do something, but it is not sieged on up here. That's going to go down. We see the medevacs go on down. Liberator's going to look to siege up as well. It's going to get like 1 shot off, and well, it's 1 shot off up against Zealots. ZEST is smashing CLEM into this game. That stasis trap was so freaking good. GG. ZEST, he takes game number 3 and puts himself 1 game away from another championship here in EBT North America. Spawning in the upper right, in the red, he is Team Liquid, CLEM. And his opponent in the bottom left, in the blue. He's up 2-1 in this series off of some really cool play, even if I don't really know how I feel about that Beckett game. He is, for Dragon Phoenix Gaming, ZEST. And okay, we've seen ZEST open Stargates. I forget what he did game 1. For some reason, game 1's just not in my memory, even if I did cast it. But at the very least, the last 2 games, we've seen him open Stargate both games. And generally, he's gone into some sort of Twilight tech behind that. He went Glaive Adepts in one of them, and I don't know how I feel about that. I think that maybe still need a little bit more beta testing there from ZEST. But he did go the charge lot build in game number 3, and it looked very good indeed. There was a little bit of a scary timing that CLEM was about to hit before charge was done, but that stasis trap was everything. And at that point, ZEST didn't need to worry. CLEM tried to drop in the main base, but I mean, they're Phoenix. You're not getting that drop off. I don't know if it's, Orchie, I don't know if it's saying ZEST throws against worse players. It feels like it's much more that ZEST is an extremely sinusoidal player. Much like Rogue, although Rogue is even more so, where ZEST is either very good or kind of underwhelming. And he does this, he'll do this multiple times a year. You can be guaranteed that around I Am Katowice, he is going to be insane, right? Because of everyone is prepping for Katowice. But then he'll fall off a little bit, and he'll kind of go down, go in the doldrums, until it's time for him to get 2nd place at Katowice once again. And then he'll go back up. And that's not always true, but it's more like ZEST kind of oscillates in how much he practices. I mean, for sure, we all remember the ZEST ZEST chisel toss, almost boudoir shots that he did after he won that first GSL, after he walked that royal road, after he slew the king. Absolutely. So yeah, that's, man. I wish I was as chiseled as the chisel toss, because yeah, ZEST is one sexy man, and his play is glorious too, by the way. It's also pretty cool, right? In the Korean scene, you hear Tastosis talk about this a decent amount. ZEST is a couple things. A, he likes to build a bank. He's got that ZEST bank sometimes, and he still wins games. B, he is a build innovator, but not a constant one. So what he likes to do, and what we may be seeing here with this kind of Glaive Adept idea, is he'll go and he'll find a build he really likes. He'll narrow it down to a science, and he'll execute it for a while, and then it stops working. He's like, okay, back to the drawing board. Let me figure something else out. And that may be what we see with the Glaive Adept builds here, after maybe he's losing a little bit too much with his Phoenix Charge Lot style, as maybe it's been figured out a little bit more. Okay, look at this. Zesty's got a really big early warning system in this game number 4. He's like, look, I know Clem wants to be aggressive. I want to make sure I'm aware of what's happening here. And actually, wait, do we have... Okay, so he's just going to go for a quick third of base. There's no Twilight. Instead, he's going to go on a Robo. Like, yeah, oh, that's what it was. Okay, yeah. And game number 1 was on Lightshade again with the Proxy Ferric. Yes, okay. I remember now. So, Zest here, once again, he will go on into Colossus Tech without Blink, without Charge. It's going to be unsupported Colossus, but it will be a lot faster. And he will have more Colossus prepared for any sort of timing that Clem may choose to hit. Now, Clem, first part, what does he have? He's got 3 barracks, he's got 3-1-1, no third base. He is going to go for that +1 stim combat shield timing once again. And the only interesting thing that we see here is, well, he's got some of it hidden on the right-hand side of the map. I don't really know how much this is hiding, honestly. Yeah, I mean, Zest is aware of this. I'm not totally sure why he has opted to go for the odd positioning. Maybe I don't know. Maybe he's hoping he can get a concave on in with attempted Blink Stalkers, but Zest isn't going for Blink. And he's gonna get his Twilight now, but only after Extended Thermal Lance is on the way. Only after Colossus Tech is underway. And also, hey, look! It is the masterful translator himself. Hello, Double DB Choi. For those of you who did not see the PC 4-man Grand Finals, first of all, you're missing out. Second of all, and I blame you, it's not on YouTube yet, but it will be soon. Third of all, Double DB Choi was the wonderful man who A, did our translations for the interviews, and B, gave us live translations of the smack talk between Maru and Byun as they played in that best of 7. It was one of the more fun best of 7s I've ever had the chance to cast, because I'm sitting here talking seriously about the game, and I see a character in Korean chat, and then Double DB Choi just pipes in and he says, Byun says, Heck W. So, yeah, what a goat. Double DB Choi is fantastic. He does so much for the scene. And I cannot believe he's sitting in my chat right now. So hello, Double DB Choi. You're awesome. And welcome. Classic is done very soon. I think he's done at the end of the summer. We're getting we got Hero back, we got Gumiho back, and we have Classic back rather soon. Here is now Clem looking to lean on into things. Io's going to stem on forward. Hey, look, you go for early Colossus, and then that Colossus can't do anything. Well, that's a bit of a problem here. It will be disabled with this Raven, but shield battery overcharge. We'll keep it alive for the time being. And there we go. That second disabled, but hey, we have a first Colossus. It's firing now. Colossus just going to run away. It's just running across the field. It says, hey, fight me, run away. It's fine. But of course, that just means that Zest will be able to clean up the rest of this. This Colossus will not even die. Okay. 2 extremely low Colossus. We'll get stimmed upon here, but Zest is doing a really good job of keeping them alive. Now charge is done. GG, that's going to be it. Clem, he's going to be mentally broken by the non-dying Colossus. Zest is your champion today here, folks.